One of the best parts of our Thanksgiving meal today is going to be our Southern cornbread dressing. And I've got my stock pot going here, and it's filled with the giblets from our turkey and good fatty rich pieces of the chicken like the back and the wing. And I've got this going and it's smelling and looking so good, but just to make sure that it's good and rich, I'm going to add a little granulated chicken bouillon, but it's looking and smelling wonderful. And I'm going to add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. Now, if you use very much of your chicken bouillon, you'll just want to be careful with your salt because it is just almost nothing but pure salt itself. And while that's cooking, we're going to put together our actual cornbread. I'm going to start by chopping a little celery, and always use the green leafy part to your celery. It's so pretty flowing throughout your dressing. And we're going to saute this in a stick of butter, always a stick of butter, 2 if you need it. You know, I always love cooking Thanksgiving. I'll never forget the very first one that I cooked. I was 23 years old and it was 1970, and I found myself without a mother to cook my meal for me. So I was responsible for doing that. And I'll never forget the day before Thanksgiving, I stayed on the phone all day long with my Aunt Peggy. She helped me through my whole entire meal. So I'll never forget Uncle George saying, "Damn it, get off the phone with her, I'm not gonna get my meal." Now we're just gonna let this kind of saute. We don't want to brown it. While that's sauteing, we're gonna move on to actually putting the bread part of our dressing together. And I've got my dried out toast. This is just plain old white bread. And I'm just gonna crumble it up. But this is a fun dish to make. You can work out all your frustrations if you have any. And then we're gonna add a sleeve of saltine crackers. And these saltines just give your dressing such a nice little punch. This is a trick that my grandmother Paula taught me. Now this is just a simple cornbread recipe here. And we're just gonna crumble that up in there. And you can see our celery and our onions are coming along nicely. And while those are going, we're gonna go ahead and beat up our eggs, because our eggs are gonna make our dressing bind together, and it's gonna fluff it up and just make it so light and delicious. All right, we're ready here, I think, with our celery and our onions. So we're gonna just dump this into our bowl. When you start doing this, make sure you have a nice large bowl, because before you know it, you've added all your ingredients in there. Your ingredients go from here to here very quickly. So as you can see, I've kind of misjudged my pot size. So I'm just gonna mix this up and pour it into a larger pot. I hate to give up this beautiful bowl. It's one of my favorites, but we'll have to pull it out and use it another time. Now we've got plenty of room because we're gonna be adding a good bit of that wonderful rich stock now. Just fill this dressing straight from the stock pot. All right, we're gonna stop now and stir this. It's almost time for this baby to go in the oven. That's almost perfect right there. And now I'm going to add just a little sage, and then we're gonna put a little poultry seasoning just to make sure it's got enough kick, and a little bit more black pepper. I really, really like pepper in my dressing. And last but not least, a very important ingredient, and that's our eggs. If you're gonna make this up ahead of time, be very, very careful, because this is one of those dishes that can, if it's not refrigerated properly, it can really sour on you. So we're ready to go ahead and transfer this now into our casserole dish. Doesn't that look so, so good? All right, this is ready to go into the oven. Look, perfect Southern cornbread dressing. I think I'm gonna sneak a taste out of here, and I'm actually gonna go from kind of underneath so nobody will know that the cook's been in it. Aunt Peggy, you'd be proud.